Hello, dear friends. Namaskar. Welcome again to Awarezen Talks. It's been a while since I last gave a teaching on this forum. I thought I'd like to refresh my background. As you can see, it's a pretty Zen-like environment that I'm in right now. And I'm very happy to once again share with you some thoughts on awareness. And today I thought I'll share with you the idea and the practice of aware listening. As we all know, we live in a very noisy and distracted world. The sounds of traffic, the sounds of machines going on all the time. Even the air conditioning gives off a sound. And in this cacophony of sounds, human sounds, machine sounds, sometimes, though quite rarely, natural sounds. Rarely because in our modern cities, the sounds of nature has been overwhelmed by the sounds of machines. Even right now, I can hear a plane flying across the sky. So for those of us who live in urban environments, in cities, where there are lots of people sounds, machine sounds, traffic sounds, it seems important for us to relook at what it means to listen. Because in the midst of so much noise, it is perhaps safer for us to tune out the noise, to desensitize ourselves to all these sounds so that we can maintain a degree of sanity. However, when we are unable to listen carefully and deeply, that can impinge on our sense of well-being. I'm not saying we should be listening to noisy sounds and so on, but rather what I'm suggesting is relearning the art of listening deeply and mindfully. How can we listen to our bodies, to our emotions, to other people around us who might have something to share with us? And how do we listen to the deepest impulses of our soul, the deepest longing of our spirit, the longing for transcendence, for freedom, for God? And ultimately, how do we listen to the voice of God Himself? So listening is not trivial. It is quite multidimensional and very important. Why? Well, first up, when we fail to listen to our bodies, we can often push the body beyond its limit. We work too hard, too long. We might hold certain postures of tension and of stress that becomes chronic. We might fail to listen to different parts of the body that's telling us, I need a break, I need a rest, I need healing. And we may ignore signals of pain and discomfort, which, if ignored for too long, might become a source of illness and a source of chronic pain. So listening to our bodies is very important for our health. Listening to our bodies allows us to care for and nurture this body in a way that honors its function. We were never designed to overwork. We were never designed to be chronically tense and stressed. So to honor that design requires that we know how to listen to the body. And listening to our heart, to our emotions is also very important. Often we suppress, we deny, or we repress unpleasant feelings. We are afraid to feel certain emotions. And as a result, we push them out of consciousness. Now, when we do that, it can end up becoming a source of greater suffering for ourselves and suffering for others. Perhaps we think we should not be feeling irritated or unhappy about something. Perhaps we don't like to feel sad about something. Perhaps we are afraid of feeling emotions of grief when grief is really an appropriate thing to feel in times of loss. So as a result, we suppress these emotions and they end up becoming something that eats away at our soul. Repression can result in mental ill health. And that can come out in all sorts of unskillful ways. That we might become strangely, easily irritated by something because we are suppressing some emotion on the inside. And then we project that irritation onto external circumstance. So listening to our emotions, to our hearts, allows us to have space for our emotions to arise and to abide and to dissolve without repression, without denial, without pushing away. And that allows a natural healing of the heart. Listening to our spiritual longing is often avoided, often covered, because we feel there are more important things to do. But in denying our spiritual longing, our deepest, innermost aspiration towards transcendence, meaningfulness, freedom, towards God, we fail to live fully as a human being. We are denying our innermost nature as spiritual beings, and that is not healthy. When we are not in touch with our spiritual being, we can easily be distracted. We can easily be swayed. We can easily be knocked down. We can easily be shattered by the vicissitudes of life. And even if we have everything seemingly in order on the outside, there is a pervasive, chronic sense of emptiness, as if something is not quite complete, as if there's this gnawing sense of unfulfillment. Even if things appear to be smooth, in the very depths of your being, somewhere you know you are not being true to the fullness of who you are, to your spiritual nature. So therefore, it's important to listen to our spiritual longing and to explore and to allow ourselves time and space to connect with spirituality. And of course, listening to God, the very ground of our being, the very source of creation, the very absolute creator of all that we are and all that we see around us. We might conceive of God differently, but what is clear is this: our hearts are restless until they find their rest in God. We might call God by different names, but all of us in our different ways, in our various cultures, are looking for Him. Sometimes we feel we found Him. Sometimes we think we have realized Him. Sometimes we think that we can achieve Him through our own efforts. But whatever the case may be, if we do not cultivate this ability, this sense of really deep listening to the voice of God, to the wisdom of the ultimate, we may fail in living our lives in the way that we are meant to. We will fail to fulfill our spiritual potential and, in fact, to fully actualize all our potentials as intellectual, emotional, volitional, creative beings created in the image of God. So I like to suggest that listening with awareness, listening deeply, listening contemplatively is a very, very important skill and art that we would do well to learn and cultivate. So I'd like to lead you all now through a short meditation on aware listening. But before I begin, I'd like to share with you a nugget of wisdom from one of my teachers called Insamararatne. He has passed away now. He said something that left a profound imprint on my mind. He said, "Isn't it interesting that the word listen and the word silent are both made of the same letters? If you rearrange the letters of silent, you get listen, and vice versa." And then he suggested, perhaps in order to listen well, we need to know how to be silent. So let us now sit in silent awareness and to relearn the power of listening. Thank you. Namaskar. So let's sit comfortably on your chair in your meditation posture, feet flat on the floor, back straight but free of tension. Allow your breath to be natural, breathing in and out consciously but without force. Allow your whole being to settle into this moment. And as you are breathing quietly, listen to the sounds around you. The sound of my voice, perhaps the sound of the air conditioning, the sound of the fan, or any other sounds that you might be aware of in your ambient environment. Just listening without reacting. Just having a clear sense of knowing. See how far you can listen without commenting on it, without saying something inside your mind. Just having this attitude of pure listening. Now, bring your attention to the sounds in your mind. When you think of something, is there not an inner voice, as if you are saying something to yourself on the inside? Listen to that inner voice, your inner commentary. Perhaps you might be thinking, oh, this is boring. Or you might be thinking, oh, what am I supposed to listen to now? Now, if you observe that inner voice, your inner talk, self-talk, listen to it without reacting. Normally, we are talking to ourselves in our minds almost all the time, but we are completely unaware. Right now, we learn to step back, shine the light of awareness on this inner self-talk, aware of every sound that you are making inside your head. Now listen to your heart. Are there any strong emotions? If not, are there any weak emotions? Just a very tiny little feeling about something. Or perhaps there isn't any emotion at all, just a certain neutrality, sense of indifference. Whatever you feel in your heart, be aware of that. Listening to what the heart is saying right now. Listening without reacting. Just being aware. Now as you breathe quietly in and out, are you aware of the sound of the breath? Quiet, gentle whisper of the in and out breath. Perhaps it's so quiet you can't hear it. But try listening to it anyway. And allow your listening of the breath to draw you deeper into that silence, the silent space of your awareness. Awareness is that space within which all experience occurs. The breathing, the emotion, the self-talk, sensations on your body. They are all arising and dissolving within that field of your awareness, which is quiet, completely still, clear and knowing. Listen to the sound of that silence. Listen to that silent space itself. Listening so deeply, you may not hear anything specific, and yet there is this very alert, wakeful, yet relaxed knowing, listening closely, being aware very intimately. Listen to the sound of silence. So now from that deep quietness and stillness, gradually finish up your meditation. Affirm that you will endeavor to bring this quality of quiet, deep listening into your everyday life so that you can listen better to yourself, listen better to others, listen better to the sound of silence, even in the midst of everything that's happening. So when you're ready, you may open your eyes. And finish your meditation. So that's it, dear friends. Aware listening. I hope that you will all be encouraged and benefit from this practice of aware listening. May it bring you a deeper degree of stillness in your everyday life. Thank you, dear friends. Namaskar. Shalom. Om Shanti.